welcome to Yoga for First Responders. I'm Heather, and today we're going to do a little energizing yoga flow. And hopefully we built up enough of a structure, a base over the past few weeks or few months if you've been following along. That as we move today, you'll be able to really just move with your breath. Again, as we move that breath, it turns into a little bit of a moving meditation like we talked about a few weeks back. And if you need to pause or hold anywhere along the way, feel free to do that. Otherwise, we're going to move, we're going to flow, we're going to kind of wake up the body, wake up the mind. So as you feel ready, we're going to get started by standing up on our mats. So feel free to make your way to the front of your mat, and we're just going to walk it out a little bit, just kind of rocking forward and back up on those toes, back on the heels. Start to wake up through the ankles, the bottom of those feet. And maybe as you bring those feet back to center, you can try rolling onto the outer edges of those feet and then onto the inner edges of those feet. A few times just side to side. Again, not super comfortable here as we move through those ankles. It's one area we tend to forget about as we're moving, as we're stretching. So we'll just give them a little bit of love here. Go ahead and bring those feet back to center, both feet finding or connecting with the ground underneath you. We're just going to lift that right heel. So coming up onto those left toes or onto the ball of your foot here. Very slowly, just moving that knee and the foot out towards the right side, and then slowly roll across the pad of your foot over to the left. And just a couple times side to side. You might feel little hard spots underneath the ball of the foot. You might not. Again, we're just waking up through the ankles, through the feet. And then go ahead and slowly release that heel down, and we will lift that left heel up. Same thing on this side, just moving that knee, moving the ankle side to side. Okay, then we'll bring both feet back to center, just firmly connecting or grounding both feet down. See if you can feel the mat underneath each one of those toes, especially those big toes, underneath the center of the heel. But then think about the arch of your foot. Try to lift the arch of the foot up away from the mat. I know it seems a little counteractive to go both ways, but we're grounding down while we're lifting up. So keeping that firm base with the feet, we're going to start to find some movement through the upper body. So just allow those arms to completely relax here as we begin to sway side to side. Maybe as you turn to the left side, the right hand might gently connect with the top of the leg. Same on the other side. Again, as you move, as we start to twist and wake up through the upper body, try to continue to ground down through those feet, strong through those legs. So just a couple times each side, maybe taking those movements a little bit deeper. Starting to find and connect with your breath as you move. A little deeper still, maybe you lift one heel as you go to the other side. Again, just a gentle connection with your hand and the top of that leg or the side of the hip as you go side to side. Let's just go 2 more times each side. And slowly making your way back to center. Alright, as we get there, again, grounding down, strong through those feet. Let's draw those shoulders back and down, opening through those palms, and just lifting tall through the crown of the head. Nice and strong through the entire body here. We're just going to take 3 breaths. Take a moment before we start to move even more to find and connect with the breath. That'll be the gauge of your movement today, which might be a little different than my pace or the way I'm moving. I'll breathe a little bit differently. So just try to find the pace of your natural breath. And then on your next inhale, when you feel ready, let's reach those arms all the way out and up, connecting the hands at the top and exhaling your hands down to your heart center. Again, we'll inhale, reaching out and up, bringing those hands together, exhaling your hands all the way down to the heart. And this time as we breathe in and reach those arms up, let's interlace those fingers at the top. We'll turn those palms facing up. I know you can't see them, but palms facing up towards the ceiling. Inhale as we lift, and exhale, lifting up and over to one side. Try to drop those shoulders down away from the ears. Just take a nice deep full breath into the side of the body. And then we'll inhale back up through center. Exhaling to the opposite side. And then inhaling all the way back up. On the exhale, releasing those arms, bending the knees, hinging at those hips. Find a gentle forward fold. As you come into this forward fold, those knees can be as deep as you need them to be for those hands to find the floor. And on our inhale, let's lift halfway. Again, hands can hover or they can come to the legs. Just find a nice long spine here. On the exhale, go ahead and fold all the way down. We'll step those feet back, lifting those hips back and up towards the ceiling. Take a few moments here. Feel free to move around, walking those heels out one at a time. You can bend one knee towards the mat and then the other. You might hear some snap, crackle, pops through the ankles, through the toes. And then as we relax both heels towards the floor, inhaling, let's shift that weight forward to our plank. Feeling those fingertips connected with the mat. On the exhale, we're going to engage the belly, lifting those hips back up. And then inhaling forward to your plank. 3 times here with that breath. Exhaling as we lift the hips. Inhaling as we come forward, strong through the whole body. Exhale, engaging the core. And one more time as we inhale, shoulders come above those wrists. Exhaling, hips lift back and up. Turning that gaze forward, taking a few little steps towards the front of your mat. Inhaling, let's lift halfway. And then exhaling, forward fold. Find a deep bend in those knees. Very slowly, let's reach those arms out and up as we stand up tall. And then exhaling our hands to our heart center. Finding your breath. And then that next inhale, reaching those arms back up towards the ceiling, connecting the hands, and then exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhaling as we fold, let's step our right foot to the back, lowering down to that right knee, untucking the toes, and we'll inhale, arms lift up, and exhale all the way out and down. Lifting the back knee, stepping the front foot back, hips lift high, downward dog. Inhaling forward to our plank. Let's go ahead and lower to both knees. On the exhale, bending those elbows, lowering all the way down to the chest and the belly. Inhaling, just a little baby cobra. Shoulders and heart lifting off the mat, elbows reaching straight back. Taking one more breath here. And then exhaling as we release. Inhaling back up to those knees. Tucking our toes, reaching the hips back. Lifting those hips high. Downward dog. Feeling those fingertips once more, grounding down into the mat, especially your pointer finger and your thumb. Helps take a little pressure off of those wrists. And then as you're ready, right knee's gonna bend. Let's draw that knee towards those hands, stepping that foot forward. Left knee lowers to the mat. Inhaling, arms lift up. Exhaling, all the way out and down. Stepping that back foot forward. Let's inhale, halfway lift. And exhaling as we fold. Deep bend in those knees. Inhaling, arms all the way up. On our exhale, let's add a little chair. Dropping those hips down and back. Take a peek down, see if you can see those toes. Finding a little pause here for 3 full breaths. Again, you can choose how you breathe. If you want to slow it down, if you just want to watch the breath. And then on your next inhale, let's stand up tall. And exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling, folding over those legs. Let's step our left to the back this time. Staying lifted, keeping that left knee lifted. We'll inhale, arms reach all the way back up. Nice and tall through the upper body. Dropping down through those hips. And then exhaling, hands find the floor. Let's step this front foot back and all the way up. Maybe that right leg lifts. Maybe you just lower it down to the floor. Your choice. And then exhaling, lowering both feet down. On your inhale, coming forward to your plank, you can come to your knees or stay on your toes. On the exhale, let's bend those elbows. Lowering halfway down if you're on your toes, all the way down if you're on your knees, and then inhale, lifting your heart. Try to reach the heart forward as the tailbone reaches back. Exhaling, begin to lift those hips, making your way back to your downward dog. Taking a nice deep breath in through your nose here. Long breath out through your mouth. And then next breath in, our left leg. Yep, left leg's gonna reach all the way back and up. Long through both legs here. And on that next exhale, go ahead and bend that left knee. Draw the knee forward, stepping that foot through in between those hands. Nice deep breath in, slowly reaching those arms up towards the ceiling. Hips reaching down towards the floor. And then exhaling, hands lowered to the mat. Stepping that back foot forward. Let's inhale, halfway lift. And exhaling, forward fold. Deep bend in those knees, making your way up to standing. And exhale, dropping those hips back and down. So our weight is back in our heels, back in our hips, strong through that core. Engaging the lower belly, drawing it in and up. Go ahead and bring those hands to your heart center. Taking a nice breath in. As we lift tall through the crown of the head, on the breath out, let's turn to your right side. Find a gentle twist here. The elbows can stay lifted. Just try to keep that connection with your fingertips and your palms. And then inhaling, we'll come back to center. Exhaling to the left. Turning that gaze to the left. Turning the shoulders to the left. Inhaling back to center. Go ahead and lift all the way up. And exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. Untucking that head. Let's pause here for 3 breaths. Soft bend in those knees. Maybe shake that head no or nod it yes. Release some tightness you might be holding on to in the neck. And then on an inhale, bringing your head back to center, we'll lift halfway up. Again, the crown of the head reaches forward as the tailbone reaches back. Exhaling, folding over those legs, forward fold. Right foot's gonna step to the back. On our inhale, let's lift those arms all the way back up. And on the exhale, bringing those hands through our heart center as we turn our torso to the left side. So again, finding a little twist here. Turning towards that front knee. Keeping those elbows lifted so we can stay long through the spine. We're gonna hold for 3 more breaths here. You can always lower down to that back knee if needed, or stay on those toes, reaching back through the heel. Finding your breath. When you are ready on that next inhale, slowly coming back to center, releasing those hands to the floor. We're going to step this front foot back and all the way up. This time, if you'd like, you can bend that left knee and open the hip to the side. Maybe turn your gaze underneath that left arm. Always an option to just come right back to your downward dog. And when you feel ready, bringing those hips back to center, lowering both feet to the floor, and then inhaling, come forward to your plank. Rather than moving through a flow here, maybe we stay on those toes, or you can stay on those knees. Either way, just drawing that lower belly up away from the floor. We're going to turn those hips towards the right side. Opening those hips to the side, dropping them down towards the floor a little bit. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, we're going to turn the hips to the left. Inhaling center. Exhaling to the right. Maybe you roll onto the sides of your feet as you go side to side. Again, you can always do this on the knees. 2 more times each side. Try to keep that lower belly lifted away from the floor. Connecting the lower ribs with those upper hips. Trying to draw them a little closer to one another. Okay, after you finish those sides, go ahead and lift those hips back up. Downward dog, give those shoulders a little break here. Always giving yourself permission to come into child's pose at any point. But when you feel ready, finding that breath once again. And then we're going to lift our right leg all the way back and up. Maybe you bend that right knee, opening the hip to the side. So that feels okay on the hip. And then very slowly bringing the hips back to center, and we'll exhale that right knee forward, stepping that foot through in between those hands. Inhaling as we lift, upper body, reaching those arms up. And then exhaling as those hands find our heart center, slowly turning to the right, so towards that front knee. Again, you can lower down to that back knee, or you can keep that back knee lifted, reaching back through the heel, forward through those right toes. Finding 2 more full breaths here. You've got it. Slowing down that breath out. Strong through the whole body. On that next inhale, go ahead and come back to center. Exhaling those hands to the floor. We'll step that back foot forward. And inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, folding over those legs. Dropping the head. Feel free to shake out that head. Maybe even sway the entire upper body. Maybe you just try shifting your weight from your right foot into your left foot. Okay, slowly coming back to center. Finding a deep bend in those knees. And let's inhale, reaching those arms all the way up. And exhaling, dropping those hips to our heart center. Or hands can come to your heart center, but we're going to drop those hips down and back. Finding that chair. All right, let's bring those feet and those knees as close together as we can. On our next breath in, lifting from the lower belly all the way up. On the breath out, we're going to turn to our right side. Now this time as we twist, you can keep the elbows lifted, or to deepen the twist, you can bring elbow to knee. Either way, we're going to try to shift our weight into our right leg. Very slowly begin to lift that left heel off the floor, and we're going to step back with that left leg. It can be a couple little steps. It can be one big step. However you want to get there, coming back into this twisting lunge. Now as we hold here for 3 breaths, again, elbows can be lifted, elbow can come to the knee, or you can open the arms. One hand to the floor, one hand to the sky. One more full breath. Wherever you are balancing, use that breath to help you stay. And then on an inhale, we'll come back to center. Go ahead and lower those hands to the floor. We'll step this front foot back. And all the way up, lifting that right leg. Maybe you bend the knee and open the hip to the side. Or maybe keep that knee bent and draw a few circles with that knee. Go in both directions if you're circling the knee. And then we'll lower that foot to the floor. Deep breath in as we come forward to our plank. Your choice here. You can move through your flow. You can move those hips side to side. Or you can stay and hold in plank. 5 breaths. Wherever you want to move. It's your practice. Your choice. You can always come to child's pose. 2 more breaths, however you were holding here or moving. And then slowly on an exhale, lifting those hips back up, downward dog. All right, let's turn that gaze forward. You can step or hop your feet towards the front of your mat, and on an inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, folding over those legs. Deep bend in those knees, grounding down into those big toes. As you inhale, arms lift. Exhaling, dropping the hips. Again, reaching them back and down, just like you're going to sit down into a chair, and someone moved it away from you, so you have to pause. We can bring those hands to your heart center, finding your breath here. On the next inhale, try to lift tall through the crown of the head. And on the exhale, we'll turn to our left side. Again, maybe the elbows are lifted, maybe the elbows connected with the outside of the knee. Either way is fine. Just shifting your weight into that left foot. Right heel slowly begins to lift. And we'll step that right foot back. One big step, a couple little steps. Maybe you fall like I almost just did. Just finding your space, finding this twisting lunge. You can be down on that back knee. Maybe your elbows connected with the knee, maybe not. Or you can open those arms. 2 more breaths. And on your next breath in, making your way back to center. Exhaling those hands, find the mat. We'll step the front foot back and all the way up. And again, feel free to bend the knee, open the hip to the side, or you can bend the knee, draw a few circles with that knee. And then slowly go ahead and lower both feet to the floor. One last little push as we inhale forward to our plank, moving through your flow. Exhaling half or all the way down. Inhaling upward dog or cobra. And exhaling downward dog. Go ahead and lower down to both knees here. Bringing those big toes together. And maybe you sit back in child's pose. Or you can come all the way up onto those knees. If you want to stretch out those arms a little bit, you can always bring your hands to your heart center, or hands together, and then the back of your thumbs towards the back of your neck. So just take a few moments here, wherever you feel most comfortable, to find your breath. See if you can feel the breath as it moves in through the nose, into the chest, into the belly, and back out of the belly, out of the chest, out of the nose. Okay, let's all extend our arms forward, our palms on the mat, hands about shoulder width apart. Just extending this child's pose for a moment as we walk those fingertips forward, gently drawing the hips back, maybe the elbows, the forearms are lifted off the floor. And then let's keep our left hand on the floor. As we inhale, we'll reach the right arm up. Turning that gaze up toward those fingertips. And then exhaling it down underneath the left arm, walking the hand all the way out to the side as far as it can go. Finding a little stretch through the upper shoulder. And then slowly bringing that arm back out. Keeping our right hand forward, left arm will lift all the way up. Nice deep breath in here as we lift through those left fingertips. And then exhaling that hand down underneath and all the way out to the side. And slowly bringing both arms all the way out in front once again. And then go ahead and walk those hands up, coming up onto those knees. Let's go ahead and lift all the way up onto those knees here. We'll bring our hands to our lower back. Inhaling as we draw those shoulders up and back. Nice big shoulder roll. Drawing those elbows in towards one another. And then as we breathe in, turning that gaze up. Try to lift up through the chest. As you exhale, dropping the shoulders down. Gently pressing those hips forward. Staying strong through those thighs, through the legs. One more full breath here. And then go ahead and slowly release all the way down, swinging those feet around to the front. So they come out in front of you. Just finding a seat once again on your mat or on the floor. And as we pause here, just try to lift nice and tall. Create a space for that breath to flow. Feel free to close those eyes for a moment or just find a gentle downward gaze at the floor. We're just going to take about 5 breaths. As we finish our practice for today, you're always welcome to lay all the way down and just do a full Shavasana for about 5 minutes. Otherwise, just try to stay with your breath for 2 more full breaths here. And maybe on that next breath in, let's just all take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And then a nice cleansing breath breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. So thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Can't wait to see you next time. And just make sure to listen to and take care of your body. Namaste.